Okay. Sige. Audio rolling ka na? Alright. Sige. Kumusta, Pinky? How are you running on approximately 11 hours awake? Since we both came from an early morning business meeting.
Honestly, I'm excited.
Buti ka pa.
Oo.
Ako ay medyo patulog-tulog pa.
Excited na kinakabahan, pero looking forward. Ayan, pwede ba yung ganun?
Okay lang yun. Ano naman, just so for the people who don't know, me and Pinky are part of a business organization. It's called BNI. And what do you think of it? Parang ako, I find it as an organization in general, it's very fascinating. I don't think I would have ever met you if it was not for that organization.
Sa totoo lang, noong umpisa, skeptical ako kasi feeling ko, been there, done that, pagdating sa mga business orgs. Because in my corporate life, lahat na yata ng organization, member yung company namin. So parang when I was being invited to be a visitor, walang sinabi kundi, ayoko yan. Parang sosyalan lang. Tapos until that person was persistent to say, alam mo, pagbigyan mo, 2 oras lang naman ito. Total, gumigising ka naman talaga ng maaga, diba?
Buti ka pa.
So,
ako hindi.
So, dahil talaga naman, I wake up earlier than 6. So, natural sa akin. And speaking of natural, pwede ba bago tayo mag-start, bigay ko lang sa yung product ko.
Alright.
Yan.
Thank you. So, for those who don't know, you're one, at least I find you as a person very fascinating. Because
thank you.
Mainly because you're one of the few people who is brave enough to start a business at around 60 years old. And I think this is part of your business. So, kumbaga, this is, tell us a little about First Skincare. At ito na yung pinaka-plug na gagawin natin.
Oo nga. Well, kasi yan, second brand ko na yan na launch. No? It started with...
Thank you, by the way.
Oh, you're
Tatago
welcome. I started with a line of natural home cleaners after getting sick. And it was a journey that I had to experience para lang ma-discern ko, ito ba talaga ang gusto kong gawin? Kasi I never imagined I will be in this space. But I allowed, God to work in my life finally, diba? So, and I used my marketing skills to the test. By the way, I'm a marketing professional, that's my background. So sabi ko, okay, but hindi. And then one thing led to another. From a line of home cleaners, I conceptualized a line of natural skincare products, and yan ang result. So I launched in August of 2020 in the height of the pandemic, but that meant I had to retire in April of 2020.
Okay lang. I think there's a lot to unpack there. Pero siguro for those who don't know, I think one thing they should know about you is that you used to be the head of you used to be the marketing head of 2 multinational companies. The first of which would be Goldilocks. And you also became the marketing head of Domino's, is that correct?
So I became the president of Domino's Philippines kasi it's under the Goldilocks group. So the board assigned me in 2014 to run Domino's Pizza International. Yan. Because that meant having the Goldilocks board as my boss on one side, as the franchisee, and then reporting to Domino's International as the franchisor. So yun, 5 taon ko ginawa yun. And prior to that, for 20 years, I was marketing VP of Goldilocks.
What would be, let's say, what would be the landmark siguro, or the definitive campaign you would say na pinaka-tumatak sa tao when you were during your tenure in Goldilocks?
Okay. One person, Chris Aquino. Chris Aquino and Goldilocks. And I guess all the endorsers that has come to be part of the Goldilocks family. Ding Dong Dantes and his gigantic wedding cake. That was, us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mukhang ang dami nyo ng inga. That's also why I wanted to invite you here, because I think you have a lot to share for people, especially those who are either moving up the corporate ladder and or even just trying to figure out their own thing. But one thing, like I've mentioned this to you in person before multiple times, na what does it take? Where do you get the energy to start a new business at 60 years old? Kasi parang ako, at that point, if I had already been the head of like a couple of multinational companies at that level, parang okay na, pwede nang magpahinga, pwede nang mag-relax in some beach somewhere, di ba? But that's why I guess I find you interesting and I want to know, where does that come from, di ba?
Oo. Saan galing,
Oo,
no?
saan galing? Kasi kung ako, tulog na ako ngayon.
Yeah. So sa akin kasi parallel yan eh. Parang imagine mo, kalye yan. My professional life and my personal life. So yung personal life ko parang shortcut na lang. Simply put, I'd like to think I have a strong relationship with our Lord. Pero there was a point in my spiritual life na hindi niya ako kinakausap. Feeling ko.
And when was
So
this?
this was in the early 2010. Ganyan, no?
Okay.
So parang...
You were still with Goldilocks
Yes,
then?
Goldilocks. So, pero parang one conflict to another. Yun, parang conflict is part of life, you know? And so it was like, so Lord, ano ba talagang gusto mong pagawa sa akin? Diba? Susundin kita. That's the head talking. But my heart was different. And I knew He was working in my heart. And so, and I was praying the wrong prayer. According to my Bible study leader, he was saying, hindi ganyan. Kasi ginagawa mo yung gusto mong gawin.
So you were praying for things
I was,
that you wanted.
that I want to do. So sabi niya, baliktarin mo yung prayer mo. Sabihin mo, surrender ako. Gagawin ko kung ano yung gusto mong pagawa sa akin. Susunod ako. But then again, be careful what you pray for because if you ask for it, He will really give you His will for you in your life. Ready ka, 'di ba? So, you know, that journey really, it took me a long time before I said yes. Parang, sige na nga, pero ganun lakas nung inclination. Pero nagkakasakit na ako. So professionally, I was successful. Like, one award after another for the brand, you know, and then, but at the expense of health. I was always getting tired, but I'm a gym rat. I exercise every day.
And I guess that's why you don't look a day over 60.
Thank you. And this is my secret, water. You know,
Water.
it's a
Tubig talaga.
proverbial fountain of
Tubig
youth.
talaga.
Yes, 3 liters of water a day.
I've only recently begun to see the effects of
Yeah.
not drinking soft drinks ideally or just automatic tubig na lang.
Number 1 hint ko sa'yo, malalaman mo may migraine ka kapag kulang kang tubig. Alam mo na yan, na oops, dehydrated ka, kulang kang water. So I thought I was leading a healthy life, I thought, until I went to go see a doctor who completely changed my perspective on what health and wellness is all about. And he did a food intolerance test. At that time, na nagdadasal ako, ano ba talagang papagawa mo sa akin? So, one day, yung sakit ko, ibang explanation ng ibang doctor, chronic fatigue syndrome. My numbers were good. Blood, urine, stool, lahat ng numbers, x-ray, normal.
Okay.
But I know my body and
There
I
was
know something is
off.
wrong. And so the other doctor who I saw said to me, Pinky, you are intolerant to wheat, dairy, and gluten. So by this time, it's already 2019.
Okay.
Early part. So sabi ko, ano bang Goldilocks at Domino's product ang walang wheat, dairy, o gluten?
Exactly what you
right?
were intolerant to.
So, ano yung message, right? So, I had to be mindful of that message. Parang, I had to tune in to both my professional life and personal life and step back and say, what is wrong with me? I have to accept and go with the flow. Diba? This is already God taking over my life, right? So, anong message doon? So, that's when the doctor removed all of it. I never became a vegetarian, but he did what he calls, in layman's words, feeling ko detoxification sa system ko of all things that were not good for me. And then in 2 weeks, I felt so good without
Doing
doing
anything
any
else.
medicine. Kasi
Okay.
functional medicine is all about using food as medicine now that I'm younger compared to when I get old that I will use medicine as food. Yun. So in 2 weeks, I got well. Then I had an aha moment 2 weeks after when our housekeeper, our maid, was cleaning with bleach
Okay.
and that harmful ingredient na panglinis sa bahay, sa floors. Doon ako nagka-aha moment. I said, sa pagkain lang ba dapat natural? Siguro sa panglinis din. I went to the supermarket and being a marketing person, bubuhatin ko lang yan, alam ko kung ano nang ganap doon. Kasi trabaho ko yun sa Goldilocks. It's our R&D that works with the FDA, but when it goes to marketing, trabaho na namin ang labeling, right?
course.
So it's just a different category and I was so disappointed when I found out na yung ibang brands, multinationals, hindi nagde-declare kung ano yung nakalagay sa mga ingredients na nasa panlinis. So for those who declared, syempre Google is available.
Parang,
Ganyan mo,
this is toxic. Yeah.
ba't ganyan? Toxic to So nung wala akong makitang cleaner na hinahanap ko that would solve what I would think would be the right cleaner na effective, na natural, na safe para sa bahay, ginawa ko, nag-create akong business plan. I used my marketing skills to test. And then, took me a month kasi sa gabi ko lang nagagawa.
You were
Daytime,
still
I'd
doing,
work.
I'm guessing you
And-
were at Domino's then?
Yes. And that's where I got my energy. Believe it or not, wala akong alam sa panglinis. Wala akong alam. But then, when I prayed, Holy Spirit, indwell mo akong wisdom. All of a sudden, the passion kicked in. And it was like I was alive. I felt like 30 years younger. And ginawa ko yung plano after a month. I put it to someone who could make it for me, but someone I could trust, a husband and wife tandem. Tapos sabi nila, sige, gagawin namin to para sa'yo. And I said, wala akong resources.
Para gawin.
Test ko lang kung pwede. They came back to me. And then, by this time, it's October of 2019. I was going to accept an award in Paris. 100 most influential Filipino women, right? I come back from Paris, November. The wife of that husband and wife tandem says to me, yung business plan mo, yung kinreate mo, pinakamagandang panlinis na naginawa yan sa R&D lab namin. Naghanap ka ba ng business partner? Alis na ako dito, sosyo tayo.
Ganun.
And to me, that was an answered prayer. Anong alam ko sa paggawa ng cleaners?
Household cleaners,
But
diba?
what's my strength? My strength is to market it, 'di ba? So sabi ko, may gagawa, ako yung magbebenta. So November 'yon. So naggawa kami ng corporation. I was 57 years old. So my husband said, sisiraan ka ba ng bait? Ibang tao
I'm sure.
dyan, 57, pa-retire na. Ikaw,
Pasimula ka pala.
tapos sabi ko, kasi ano ko lang to, sideline, pay forward project, o kung magkaroon ako ng, parang it started as an advocacy, kanya, na pag meron akong ganito, I will donate. Ganon ako una. Na because I promised our Lord, I said, whatever I make here, it's not gonna go to my pocket. Yun na yung parang charity money ko, na I'll just bless people with it.
That will be your philanthropy.
That was my thinking in the beginning. And at the same time, nagre-reorg yung Goldilocks. But look at how the Lord works, first week of November yon nung bumalik ako, tapos nagawa kami ng papers. Nagre-reorg yung Goldilocks. So sabi nung chairman of the board namin, so we're going to reassign all the VPs. So I said, can you give me 6 months? Because I want to evaluate my options. and don't assign me in
Anything
any
muna. Para floating ka
I'll
lang?
be can you like is there such a thing, special projects or
Ganun
whatever.
muna.
Tignan mo, November, December,
December.
January, February, March, April.
That was the peak
So
pandemic.
mag-usap, sabi nung chairman, mag-usap tayo end of April. What happened in March
Diba?
2020? So parang feeling ko, I was meant to retire. Pag hindi pa klaro yon, may problema na sa
Kumbaga,
akin.
yun yung sinasabi
Diba?
nilang parang, God give me a sign. Tapos
diba?
hindi mo tinitignan.
Hindi mo tinitignan. So parang nawala ako sa... I allowed him to be the driver. Alam mo yung kanta ni Carrie Underwood, Jesus Take the Wheel?
Jesus Take the Wheel.
Yun. Diba? Kasi he was the driver. I was the passenger. And he really took the wheel. Na I allowed him na parang go with the flow. In my heart, I knew I was doing it correctly. Pero ang struggle ng entrepreneur, iba.
Iba talaga.
Kasi pandemic na.
And I guess that must have been a very radical shift, diba? Kasi you were coming from a multinational and then starting out a small business on your own. As a small business owner myself, I understand na parang instead of having all of the resources, okay, utos dito, utos doon,
Yeah.
bigla na lang, utusan mo na sarili mo.
Sabi mo, oo, kasi walang gagawa, di ba?
Diba?
Pag hindi mo yun inasikaso, di ba, wala. Yan doon pa rin siya bukas. Kasi sa pandemic, parang ako lang, tsaka yung pero talagang ibang level, no? So, nung umpisa, January, February, I was weighing my options. So, tinatawagan ko yung mga agency friends ko. Pwede mo bang gawa ng logo? Pwede mo bang ganyan? Ay, busy kasi kami. Alam mo, strat planning ngayon di ba? We'll call you. Nung nag-pandemic,
Sila lahat
di biglang,
nagsitawagan.
ano nga ba yung papagawa mo sa akin? Ganon.
Wala silang trabaho
work, di ba? So, di ba parang may oras sila all of a sudden, di ba? And naging win-win, di ba? So, I took that opportunity to really look at how I'm going to market this. Alam ko from the beginning, natural cleaners is not for everyone.
Of course.
Pero digitally speaking, I'm not a digital native. 57 years old na. Parang, hello, diba? Hindi ako hindi ako shopper ng Shopee o Lazada. But I have to ask my kids to shop for me, right? So, I had to relearn a different distribution channel. But I sort of, marami akong pagkakamali, diba? Pero at least, within the confines
Of a small
scale at that time, diba? And naisip ko na, teka muna, saan ko naman dadalhin yung, di ba, may retirement money naman ako, di ba? Parang, okay, maglalaan ako aside na ito, ipupuhunan. It's investment. Wala pa akong i-rent na na space. Kasi nandun sa bahay. Okay. So, meron akong way na i-invest pa, di ba? May mali dito, may mali doon. Okay lang. Kasi hindi naman akong babayad ng rent. Nandun pa ako sa bahay. Until we launched Live Clean, which was in August. So, meron akong leeway, diba? But I had to be conscious, kanya na. Dati, nung nasa corporate world, di ko yun, may taga-east, may taga-lista, so to speak, may taga-ganon ngayon. Ako lahat yon. So, from one employee, 2 employees, yun. Naging 6 kami ngayon.
I think you have a unique perspective that most people won't have. Being the head of a market, 2 multinationals, and then starting your own business. How was your view of marketing changed, and what do you think stays the same?
Well, sabi nila, textbook says, the principles of marketing are the same. The 4 Ps, product, price, place. Totoo naman, diba? That has not changed. But the behavior of the people, they have changed. over
Okay.
time, 'di ba?
And what have you noticed?
Yung consumer na depende sa category na binibenta mo or na minamarket mo. So, I cannot speak for Goldilocks anymore kasi
But at least at the
yun yun,
time,
'di
what
ba?
did you notice
Um,
then?
Naging radical yung shift, 'di ba? Hindi na sila pwede lumabas. So before it was dine in and take out and mostly dine in, so yung shift kung 80-20, dati
20?
dine in, 20 baliktad.
Baliktad na. Okay.
Baliktad kasi yun na yung purchase behavior nila eh. Change, 'di ba? So therefore, how they will take out, 'di ba, ano yung cost structure mo, yung pricing mo dahil iba na lahat has to
change. Has to adapt.
'Di ba? Kasi it all starts with the customer and your product,
Of course.
'di ba? So, anong nangyayari? Lahat nagtaasan, 'di ba? But will customers buy you? Of course,
Of
when
course
you're
not.
hired, no. So, you have to tighten your belt because they're not going to buy a more expensive product than what they're used to buying. Otherwise, people were baking in their homes. People were, cooking left and right. So there are a lot more alternatives for them to choose from already. Diba? Yun.
Okay. So, I think what I'm noticing is that you have, I want to say, two core beliefs. Correct me if I'm wrong. The first one is really rooted in spirituality,
Faith.
and then the second one, and faith. And the second one, I think, is this inherent desire to make the world a better place through the products you create. Is that correct?
Make a difference, 'di ba? It's more like kasi lahat naman tayo mamamatay, 'di ba? So
Talaga? Yeah.
oh, 'di ba? If that one thing is for sure, we're all gonna die, right?
Okay.
I'm not being morbid or
No, but it's,
anything, but it was more like kasi pag nagkasakit ka,
Of course.
dadaan yun sa'yo,
And you had-
diba? It crosses your mind more than one time. And it was at that crossroad when it hit me that I said, so if I die today, and I come face to face with Jesus, diba? And He'll say, so Pinky, what did you do on earth to glorify my name? Diba? Alam mo, sabihin ko sa Kanya, Lord, nakita mo
Tinayam.
ba yung Goldilocks? Kita mo yun si Chris Aquino, galing na benta, di ba? O yung ganyan.
He doesn't care about that.
Teka muna, sino ba yung glorify ko? Dahil yung sarili ko. What was his question? What did you do to glorify my name? Right? So, it was like, ano ba yan? An eye-opener. Na I'm not here on earth for me. I live for a higher purpose. So if my purpose then, na happy na ako noon, professionally,
You were successful. By any standard.
In all accounts, I delivered results for my employer. I delivered, customers were happy. Everyone was happy. But then again, was that my purpose? At that time, yes. But for the future, moving on, naisip ko rin magre-retire na ako, 'di ba? Parang, okay, magre-retire na ba ako? Pandemic. Hindi eh. Kasi what is my purpose? Then I should go back to my existence. Parang a little bit introspect and to say, ano ka nga ba? Ba't ka nandito? 'Di ba? So, I do not see kasi myself serving our Lord in church na nasa loob ako ng simbahan. But my prayer always was, use my skills, use my talent because that's how I will serve you. Gamitin mo ko, gamitin mo yung kakayanan ko at yung abilidad ko at ganyan kita. Anong gusto mong message mo? Right? So and that is what the outcome was, right? So technically, I'm marketing His message
So you're
for people.
I see. I'm curious though, where does that spirituality come from, or what started that? Because I don't think you're the way you talk about it. It's so ingrained in your personality already. I think it's who you are, and it translates into the work that you do. But how did that start?
Ay, matagal. Naku, kung alam mo lang. Suwail akong bata. As
Okay.
in, but we all go through what we call seasons in life. You know, I'd be there, Bible study, and I'd fall. Pero ganun man talaga tayo eh, di ba? We stumble, we fall, and we pick up. But we know that He is always there for us. And it was in like,
Do you remember a particular...
oo, 2014.
Okay.
'Di ba, na talagang crisis, 'di ba, at work, na I said, and then 2000, I go back a little, 2012, no? Parang major crisis at work that I said, ibang ano na to ibang dynamics na to. So, and I went back, few years back, sabi nung Bible study leader ko nun. Kasi I would attend. It's just that I stop. Alam mo yun? Mag-attend ako, bye-bye. Ganun,
Parang
ayoko
at
na.
that
Kasi
point,
busy ako
busy ka eh. I mean,
busy, di ba? Parang, I don't have time for this. And then I'd go on. And then, who else do you call on but our Lord, right? Parang wala ka ng ibang pagpupuntahan except prayer, right? And then I met a friend who I haven't seen in a long time. I saw her again. Sabi niya, alam mo, why don't you join? Diba? Palang mawawala sa'yo. So, you know, I said, nga, wala nga mawawala sa akin. Nagkita na tayo dati. Siguro nga, ikaw yung parang angel ko na dapat makinig
that would have
ulit
been the
ako.
first sign, di ba?
Right? So, immediately, and what was that book? Again, professionally and personally, yung journey, yung book of Moses, di ba? So, si Moses, the life of Moses. Tapos sabi, Old Testament yun. So, kung titignan mo, naaral natin, textbook yan eh, di ba? Pero yung nakita ko yung sarili ko, yung Israelites nun, ikot ng ikot 40 years sa desert. Pero kung titignan mo yung map, saan sila umikot? Umikot lang.
Umikot lang. Wala silang
Umikot
pinuntahan.
lang. Diba? Tapos ang nila mapunta sila sa promised land. Pero 40 years. Tapos sabi ko, anong right ko mag-complain? Na ako, umikot lang ako 2 taon. Palagay mo na. Diba? Until that thing. Oo nga. Diba? So that's when I knew He was working in my heart because it was a journey. Hindi niya ako kinausap 5 taon.
Okay.
At I thought. But in hindsight, He speaks to us through people, through you. Matigas lang ang ulo ko. Di lang ako nakikinig. Or I just wanted to listen to what I wanted to hear.
Okay. Sige. Something you said earlier, I think fascinates and at the same time informs me of why you eventually formed Likha Collab. Kasi correct me if this is my idea of it. You sound or your core, I guess, skill, or at least your core skill would be really rooted in marketing because that's who you are. That's what you love to do at the.
Yes. Up to now, yes.
Ito na talaga. But at the same time, binabangga yun with this
Purpose.
both the need and the want for a toxic-free life, essentially, di ba? Which is why you started with
The cleaners called Live Clean.
And then you eventually moved into skincare products. But over the last year, I remember I was one of the first people you told
Yes.
me about building
Yes.
diba? The Likha Collective, which is essentially a marketplace for brands who embrace this same ideology.
Yes.
At least the way I see it, it makes a natural sense na ganun yung nangyari kasi okay, instead of just marketing myself, why not market this whole lifestyle, diba?
Tama.
With good intentions. And I think that's why Likha Collab has been successful in what you're doing so far because it's not necessarily about just me na parang okay, we're in here when you're in this to make money. There's a higher purpose which I truly think, which I believe in, which is essentially trying to live a toxic free life, diba?
Yes.
Tama ba?
Tama. Bullseye.
So, talk me through that journey and
Yeah.
how has that changed na parang instead of just marketing, okay, I'm marketing my products.
Tama.
But then now I have to market this whole platform?
Yeah.
This whole, what's changed? Like, ano yung mga napansin mo? What have you learned? And how have you grown through that process?
So, nung ginawa ko yung Live Clean, so the
It was
marketing in me, the marketing person in me says, create a website, diba? I never imagined myself doing a skincare line a year and a half later, but I did create another website, right? So, it was very expensive. Ito na yung mga ano ko pitfalls.
Scaling of it.
diba?
I mean,
So, parang to maintain 2 sites, mali
Doble.
Parang dobleng gastos, ganyan. I have to spend to advertise separately here, separately there. So, parang nawawalan ako ng strategy, right? So, kasi hindi naman pwedeng shotgun approach, diba? So, I had to have an overall strategy. And tamang-tama, the consumers are already parang going back into the swing of things, meaning na-lift na yung pandemic kasi it's already early 2023, ganyan. Tapos sabi ko, teka muna, parang hindi ko naman plano itong Live Clean tsaka tong First, pero eto na, 'di ba? So, and I prayed for wisdom. Sabi ko, paano ko to i-level up? Because sa totoo lang, any entrepreneur can close that, right? Let's just shut it down.
Or
Move
just-
on.
or just-
diba? Close it. And
Or
then,
just keep on doing the thing you're doing. You're
or
making
ganon.
money. Nothing
Hindi.
wrong with that.
Pero wala, I'm not making money. Kasi dalawa dahil nga magastos.
Okay.
Magastos 'di ba? So, I need to pivot. For me to stay relevant I have to address the consumer already na, okay, nakabalik na siya. When it's now already, the world is going back to normal, I have to address that, right? And so, sabi ko, sasaran ko ba? Hindi ko sasaran. Kasi I'm failing, madali magsara. At wala akong care if I just close it. I mean, ano lang yung website lang yan
Website,
So what? Parang wala pa naman ako sa mga stores. It's okay. Pero hindi ata ako makakatulog. Kasi mission sa akin yun So, again, pag namatay ako, sabi ni Jesus sa akin, ikaw naman, yung faith mo, hindi mo stinrich. Binigay ko yan sa'yo, yung you didn't, yung parang kulang ang tiwala mo sa akin. Di ka nagtiwalang buo na one day, that will flourish. And it's only been 3 years. A fruit from a tree, a mango tree. Di ba 5 taon, 6 taon
we have
bago
a mango
magbunga
farm.
yan di ba?
Matagal yan.
Matagal. So, sino naman ako para sabihin, bubunga agad yan? The mentality now na instant.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, especially if my purpose was to change and transform the way Filipinos are consuming products, right? So, okay, hindi ganito, lakihan yung strategy, gawin. And then, naisip ko, again, it's not about me. Mas maraming mga brands na mas nauna kesa sa akin. Ako, late bloomer ako. Ito nauna. What if, nasan ba sila? So, inaral ko, nasan sila? Nasa supermarket. Walang Filipino, walang marketplace that is just for Filipino. I'm never gonna be a kultura or any of this. Nothing wrong about kultura,
course.
Right, but it's more about a focused marketplace just for health and wellness. That was what my prayer was leading me to open that, 'di ba? So, sabi ko, sige, parang yung Bible verse na, if God is with you, who can be against you? Resonated so strong. So, with much humility, 'di ba? Parang sige, go fight. Pero inaral ko sino yung brands na iimbitahin ko para sumali diyan. At it's not about quantity of brand partners. It's the quality. So, if first skincare and Live Clean was all about toxic free, yan din ang iimbitahin ko. Lahat ng brands who have same values and same ganon, but I was taking a risk kasi masikat sila kaysa sa
Of course.
akin.
Why would they?
Why will they come to me, 'di ba? And ako yung magiging SM bonus nung marketplace, tapos sila yung mga sikat. But I promised them that parang I'm not competing with them because our advocacy and our objective were all the same.
Yes.
It's for the Filipino. Tapos, as in 10 minutes pa lang ako nagsasalita, the owner of Human Nature says, I'm
Game.
with you. Kasi nakikita ko yung sarili ko kung paano ako nag-umpisa. Pareho mo, ganyan. Diba? Pareho tayo. So, we all coexist because Likha Collab is just one channel of distribution sa entire distribution network nila. What's the diff? Puro Pinoy lang na brands ang allowed sa Likha Collab. Na kailangan toxic-free, wala kang linalagay na harmful ingredients sa produkto mo at dinideclare mo yung sa label. Not for me, but for the consumer. Diba? Kasi the consumer, the Filipino deserves to, they deserve better than na nabubudol sila ng mga na nagkakarash ng balat nila, na nakakasugat-sugat ng kamay nila, 'di ba? Na harmful ingredients sa kanila, na yung hindi ka na makahinga pag naglilinis ka ng banyo kasi 'di ba?
Yung
Dahil parang
fumes.
yung alam mo toxic 'yun 'di ba? We deserve better. And one of the things that was driving me was my goal was one day the Filipino will be proud to have a Filipino product in their home na panglinis sa bahay at ginagamit from head to toe. Kasi tanongin kita, hindi ako magagalit.
Okay lang.
Yung panlinis mo sa bahay, sigurado multinational product.
As of now,
Correct?
yes.
Yung tignan mo yung banyo mo, yan ang nakalagay doon, shampoo mo, head to toe, for sure multinational product.
Yung shampoo ko hindi. Luckily.
Local.
Yun pa lang. Yun pa lang.
Diba?
So slowly. slowly.
Diba?
getting
Pero
there.
ang tanong, alam mo ba kung ano
Ano
yung
naman?
ingredients nung nandun sa produkto mo? Kasi, again, it's all about health and wellness. Kasi, yan na yung future eh. Aalis tayo dito, but what are we going to leave this earth with? Diba? And if I'm able to transform one Filipino home to remove toxicity in their home, one at a time, one home at a time, yun na yung mission ko. Diba? Para sa kanya. Yun.
I'd like to also add lang to something you said na that's why it's not
Collaborative.
collaborative. That's why it's not marketplace. It's a collaborative because a lot of people think na business is a zero-sum game. Na parang someone has to win, someone has to lose. But I think that's precisely why what you're doing is so strong. Kasi, meron dito skincare products. May panlinis na rin. May ganito na rin. Lahat nandito na. Parang it becomes a one-stop shop for the people with the same ideology and trust. Diba? So, and that's stronger than having individual stores na hahanapin ko pa ba? Okay na yung mag-check out na lang ako lahat dito. I think, diba? I mean, if you're looking at it on the grand, like even on a basic consumer level, that's why Lazada is so strong, diba? You can check out from one place.
Yes.
But this becomes that for living a Filipino toxic-free life.
Yes. And may kids and baby care. Diba? Nandyan. Tapos, pati pagkain. What we call functional foods. Na ang difference is, ang ibig sabihin lang ng functional food, good para sa'yo. Kasi, 1 in 14 Filipinos have diabetes. O, diba? So, ano ibig sabihin nun? The overconsumption ng sugar.
Of course.
And with all due respect to my former employer, diba? So, sa titignan natin, dapat ba talaga everything in moderation?
Everything in moderation.
Pero may mga pagkain na dapat talaga tayong i-avoid at gawin na part ng life natin. Maraming may hindi alam. Ang stevia, ginugrow na dito sa Philippines.
I did not know that.
Yun. Nandun sa Likha Collab. It's with us, diba? And we have brands who are export-only brands sa functional food who I was able to convince to sell in Likha Collab. Ano sila? Coco Aminos. dinidistribute to other countries. 'Di ba? O ngayon, ano yon? Replacement ng soy sauce. Tapos, akala kasi maraming mga tao may health issues. It's not just yung panlinis and all. It's also what you ingest.
There's also, I think, the same ideology also applies to some of my work in audio. Yung tinatawag naming tito, trash in, trash out.
Yan, ganyan.
Diba? Ganun talaga. So I think
Yeah.
just being aware of what you put into your
Yes.
body
Yun.
goes a long way. And I think that, kumbaga, what you started with Likha is, I think, very clear in how you help others.
Thank you.
But now, I think the message is also clear na how can others help you naman in Likha Collab? I think one obvious reason is if you are a brand that believes in the Filipino living a toxic-free life, you can reach out to Pinky. Tama ba?
Tama.
Other than
Yes.
that, how can other people help you in what you do?
Simple, paki-log on sa website www.likhacollab.com LIKHASCOLLAB.com.
Okay.
And then makikita nila, kasi sa pagbili nila dyan, ang sinusupport nila yung the entire value chain. The brands who are also here in the Philippines trying to make a difference. 'Di ba? Human Nature, Pure Culture, or Rice pa. 'Di ba? Yon. No? Tapos, yung kung saan nila sinosource yung mga ingredients nila, if that's yung coconut oil o kung ano man yun back papunta, because they're all plant-based, ang value chain nun pabalik sa farmer, 'di ba? So ang tinutulungan mo ang Philippine economy kasi lahat 'yan gawa sa Pilipinas.
Okay.
'Yun.
Sige. One thing we talked about before we started the podcast was you starting a business at around 57
Yes.
specifically. And I think one concept that that seems to resonate with a lot of people I talk to is that things take time. And for you, it may not have been you started the business a long time ago, but all of that experience led up to doing this, diba? One thing that always sticks in my mind is Warren Buffett. He didn't make a lot of 99% of the money he made after 60 or 65 years old, diba? And I think I see you obviously we wish you success in the field, but I feel like it's more of I think you're still going to have the same energy at 70, 75. So pang matagalan to. It's not, hindi siya pet at this point, hindi na siya pet
Hindi
project.
na siya pet project, hindi na siya passion project. Hindi
Okay.
na.
What do you think for anyone who's afraid, I guess, of starting or wanting to do something, what would you say, what in your experience can you speak to on how you were able to get that courage?
Yeah. Dalawang bagay yon. Most entrepreneurs, especially in the tech sector, yung isang bagay na ang iniisip, what's the next big thing? Yan ang gagawin ko. 'Di ba? Kasi chances are, if that's your mentality, it's going to fail. Because you're there for the short haul. If you do not find the next big thing or the next best thing, you're going to be disappointed. 'Di ba? Kasi hinahanap mo yon 'di ba? So, yung isa naman, meron kang gustong gawin, nandyan sa yung passion, pero walang dumadating na proyekto. 'Di ba? Parang, gusto ko mag-start. Meron akong puhunan. Kanino ko ba to pwedeng ilagay? 'Di ba? May ganon, 'di ba? So, san ko siya pwede? Takot, 'di ba? To test the waters. Ay, lalagay ko na lang safety net, 'di ba? Ilalagay ko na lang siya sa bangko, ilalagay ko na lang siya sa ganon, right? But lahat tayo were given resources to make a difference in different ways. You're doing live catch, you're teaching workshops, that is your calling. each person has to find their calling. Yan lang, ang makakasalita lang yan, ikaw, yung tao, through deep discernment. 'Di ba? Whether that discernment is through a retreat, 'di ba? Punta kang beach, ganyan. Or some people through prayer, no? For you to really search in your heart, are you there for the long haul? Kasi kailangan willing ka to be there and willing ka talaga. When Jesus said, 'di ba, come follow me. May phrase doon. Pick up your cross and follow me. Wala namang cross na magaan. 'Di ba? So, you're there because you know He's going to be there with you. If you know that you're going to trust, and malaking if yun eh. Kasi not a lot of people, they give up. You should not give up. Because if you give up, then siguro isa na akong testament doon, 'di ba? Kasi 5 taon. Why will I give up? Then it means my purpose was in vain? No, it's not, 'di ba? Because ngayon nagtatraction, 'di ba? Parang I met someone in Japan of all places who say, "Ha, ikaw ba live clean? Binibili ko 'yan." 'Di ba? Parang nakakataba ng puso, 'di ba? So it really takes time, and if you are willing to invest not just resources but time, yun ang maa-advise ko. Willing ka for the long haul.
Okay. Sige. I guess we have a small tradition here in the podcast where the previous guest, before that siguro, what's one piece of learning or advice that you find that's very specific to your industry that you feel that would benefit more people or anyone?
Sa akin, one advice that I can give people is basahin ninyo yung label ng mga product na pinipick up ninyo sa supermarket. Kasi kaya ninyong i-google yung mga ingredients na yon, kung harmful o hindi. 'Di ba?
I guess that also goes back to one of the things I teach in my workshop, and pardon my French, sinasabi ko, GMG. Google mo, gago.
Tama, GMG.
Diba?
Oo, 'di ba? Oo.
Ganun talaga. Sige. Okay, so
Yun.
pag may hindi ka sure sa mga label,
Ayan.
GMG.
Google mo, GMG.
Okay.
I like ko yan.
Okay, sige. Yun nga, we have a small tradition here at the podcast wherein the last guest leaves a question for the next guest without knowing who it is. So, this question comes from Reese Lansangan. So, she's an independent singer-songwriter that I manage. And her question was, what was the last chance encounter that you've had that has changed your life?
What was the last
Chance encounter. That has changed your life? So, that's her question.
Chance encounter. I would say that doctor that I met changed my life.
This was in 2014?
That was kasi yung nag-introduce sa akin sa kanya was a former PMA member, no, Philippine Marketing Association member. And normally, pag sinabi sa'yo ng doktor, 3 months ang waitlist sa akin, di ba, lilipat ka na ng doktor? Di ba?
I mean,
Parang, 3
grabe
months,
naman.
sobra ka naman, di ba? Pa ako iba. Pero, sabi ko, hindi, maghintay ako, di ba? Kasi, di nga eh. So, that doctor changed my life.
So, this was the doctor that had advised you to change
the way I viewed health and wellness.
All right. Who was that doctor in particular?
Raymond Escalona.
All right. Thank you, Raymond. Okay. And then, in keeping with that tradition, without knowing who the next guest is, could you leave a question for them? Kahit you don't need to say it out. So the
Okay.
people can find out and just sign your name. Sige.
Okay.
Ganun lang. Any question. You could ask them any question in the world.
Yan.
All right. Okay. Sige.
Yan.
Okay. Sige. And then the last thing, because I know you know that I love music. One of the things that we do is we're building a playlist of all just songs that our guests would like to add to the playlist. But I think I know the song that you would like to add, which is Jesus Take the Wheel, hindi ba?
Isa yun. Pero,
What's the song?
Yeah,
Kumbaga,
isa?
what's a song that you would like just to add? It could be a song that you like, a song that you think more people should be listening. It could be you have your own
song.
criteria, and I just want to know why that song.
Happy by Pharrell
Okay.
Williams.
I did not. Okay.
You did not expect
I
it?
did not expect you to be a Pharrell fan.
No, kasi sa akin yung lyrics nun.
Ang ganda
It's
nga.
more than anything, it's the lyrics of that song.
And I think one thing about this song, it's one of the few songs na parang ten 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 ten, tapos napapangiti ka na agad.
Oo, diba? Feel good vibes yan eh.
Yeah.
Kahit na down ka na, diba? Tugtugin mo yan. Parang all of a sudden, positive vibes ka na agad. Out with the nega, in with the feel good, diba?
All right. Thank you, Pinky.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your time. I hope you enjoyed. All right. Ganun lang.